What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to another Planet Coaster episode. I did not get a chance this morning to talk about our new ride teaser for the day because of what Planet Coaster or of what Frontier did this morning to everybody. So I had to leave. I had to get to work, so I didn't get a chance to make my video. So I was kind of thinking about it, and I was like, well, it's kind of pointless to make it at 10 o'clock at night that it is right now, because you all have already watched everybody else's videos and everybody else's thoughts about it. However, I do have fans of mine who care, and they want to know my thoughts on it, and that's why they watch my videos. So I thought, all right, I still need to do this, but I want to do something different. So it is Friday. It's the end of the week. It's been an interesting week, hasn't it? It's been a very interesting week. So I thought, you know what? Let's do an end of week review of everything that's happened, a highs and lows. As you know, I have been making videos for the last little bit, kind of like my ideas. I kind of expected we would have a DLC in April. I was thinking end of March, early April. I kind of thought we'd get something. Lo and behold, we were announced that we would get something, and then by looking at the stream schedule from Frontier, we were able to figure out kind of a time frame that this would probably release. I said it would be released on the 16th. I was right. So I expected we would see something starting on Wednesday, and then maybe they would tease a little bit of it before the next stream, and then it would release on Tuesday, and then a stream talking about the DLC. But I did call the 16th would be when the release date was, and I was right. So I've been making these videos about like what future ideas, themed ideas and stuff that could be, and a lot of my stuff is coming true so far. There's like the first one we got was like the Flying Temple. Well, technically not the first, but that one was kind of an oddball one. Wasn't expecting that. Also wasn't expecting interdimensional, but we'll talk about that in a minute. But yeah, I called it that the 16th would be the release date. I was right. And I didn't expect Monday morning to wake up and hear about Copperhead Strike. So let's talk about Copperhead Strike. I love it. It's basically the same thing that they did with Steel Vengeance, where it's already a track that we have, but they're just putting a new car on it. But those cars, oh my god, they're so beautiful. I love them. I hope we can take those cars and put them on other tracks, because I could maybe see using those with other stuff and creating my own things with it. But I highly doubt that's going to happen, because I don't think you can put the Steel Vengeance on any other track except the Steel Vengeance track. I might be wrong on that, but I feel like I've seen that there's a restriction with Steel Vengeance, and I can't remember what it was, and I think that's what it is. So the idea of being able to put, say, those on a regular vector track, we probably won't be able to do. We probably won't be able to put them on any track that is even remotely similar. Anything that we can put the vector on, we probably won't be able to put the Copperhead Strike coasters on. So that probably is not going to happen. But it would be great if it was. We probably won't be able to paint them either. They're probably going to be just black. That's probably going to be it. It's kind of cool. We getting some signage for it, which I'll probably never use. I don't use the Steel Vengeance signage because it literally says Cedar Point and Steel Vengeance on there. And I probably won't use the Copperhead Strike signage for anything. Looks like they've created everything out of in-game scenery that we already have, such as the Moonshine Steel inside of the barn there and all that. It's all created with stuff that they already have. Looks like it's fairly well done from what I can tell. I'm surprised one of the Frontier designers did it, because I really want to say this was probably done by someone in the community. I don't know who, but maybe Silverette. Maybe they got Silverette to do it. I don't know. He's not said anything about it, so I don't know. Nobody's actually claimed it. So maybe it was one of the in-house Frontier track layout people, but honestly, most of the in-house layouts kind of suck. So I don't know who did it, but it looks like it's expertly done. It looks really good. So Copperhead Strike was a huge surprise, and it's part of the free part of the DLC. So we will have that. If you don't want to buy the DLC, you still get that for free. I don't know if there's going to be anything else included in that. All I know is that is going to be part of the free DLC, the free part of the DLC. So Copperhead Strike, Monday, that was that. So I expected, since they announced that on Monday morning, I kind of expected we would see something on Tuesday at that point. So I got up early as I could and woke up to be able to see like this really weird thing. A recreation of the Pagoda or Pagoda. I don't know how you pronounce it, but it's an Efling. And I was like, okay, that's odd, but all right. Okay. I personally think it's kind of meh. I love it. I think it's a beautiful ride. It's beautiful in Efling. People of the Dutch community or people in Europe who love the Efling, I am not putting your ride down. I'm not. It's a beautiful ride in your park. It is absolutely stunningly awesome to look at. I like to watch it. I like, you know, in the game, the in-game version is more of an Asian themed one, and it's a beautiful ride. It really is. It's not very generic, but let's face it, the generic versions of these things are kind of ugly, so we probably don't want it to be generic either. It's just this oddball ride, and there's like somebody posted a list of all of them, and that was kind of interesting to see that list. There's a lot more than what I thought there were, but some of the most well-known ones are you know, Happy Valley. Most known ones. There's a lot of them in, I guess, Asia for some reason. I don't know. Somebody said there was one at like Legoland at one point. I didn't realize that. So, but I mean, it's just this oddball ride, and it's a pretty ride. It's a beautiful ride. It's just kind of like not the best way to start the pack off, maybe. But I guess, you know, start slow and finish strong. You know, that's what they did with the last pack. We got the Chairlift as one of the last rides revealed in that, and the Chairlift was, well, I mean, it wasn't exactly what people wanted, but we got a Chairlift, so that's a start. Maybe we can get some bucket cars later on, some Von Rose. That's a possibility. But yeah, this thing is it's just kind of a weird, oddball rarity. That's just kind of one of those rides that, like the Space Shuttle, I'm not going to use it. Like the Forge, I'm not going to use it. You know, there's just a couple of rides in the game that I look at them and I'm like, this just doesn't fit my park. I'm not going to use this. And I have no use for it. I can't find anywhere to put it. And I'm not going to force it into the park. I've seen people literally do that. A new pack comes out, they will force a ride into their park somehow just because it's new and they want to use it. Don't do that, guys. Don't. It's just because it's in this pack doesn't mean you have to use it. Don't force it in your park. If you've got an Asian themed area or something like that, yeah, by all means. If you think it will make that part of that area even awesomer, then go ahead and use it. Just don't force it in your park. Like somebody said, I should put that in Silverwood, and I'm like, no. No, Silverwood is a rustic mountaineer kind of park. It doesn't get an Asian themed tall thing like that. That's not going to happen. So yeah, there's that, and I just want to end by saying I'm not shitting on this ride at all. It's a pretty ride. It really, really is. I really like it, but it's just something I'm not going to use. So to me, it was kind of meh. But I'm fairly reasonable with it. A lot of people love it. Like I said, a lot of people in Europe and stuff who love the Efling, they're ecstatic about it. And more power to you guys. I'm glad you got it, what you wanted. I don't want a pack that's just everything that I want. It's, you know, there's 9 rides plus a variant in this thing. I'm sure there's going to be stuff in it I'm going to like. That was my thinking on Tuesday. I was like, well, it's one ride out of 9. I'm probably not going to like every single one of them. So I was reasonable about this, and I'm not going to call it crap. It's a nice ride. It's not something for me. Let's move on to Wednesday. So Wednesday, we got the reveal of Interdimensional, which I made a mistake on that morning and said it was like Time Traveler, but nah, I guess it's more like Whirlwind. Some other people have said it's like other coasters and stuff, and you know, like somebody said it was like Sierra Sidewinder, but Sierra Sidewinder is flat track, not triangular Mack track, so it's not the same thing. However, now there's a couple things with this that we don't know. Can it be launched? Because it's on the vector track. Again, they're overusing this vector track in this pack. So it's on the vector track, the triangular Mack track. Does that mean that it can be launched as well? We know from the description that we can control its spin, like we can say when it can be locked or unlocked for spinning. We know that. We don't know if it can be launched. There's also a rather question of whether or not it can do inversions, which after looking at Time Traveler's lap bars and stuff, they're not over the shoulder or anything like that. So yeah, I think this ride could totally do inversions, but Frontier loves to put restrictions where they shouldn't be restrictions. So we will see Tuesday when the pack comes out exactly what there is all to that. Moving on along, let's see. So there was that ride that day, and I honestly expected, I had to go to work, so I wasn't able to watch the live stream until much later. But we knew there was going to be a special live stream that day, and I expected them to talk a little bit about what we already saw, a little bit about Copperhead Strike, a little bit about the Flying Temple, and a little bit about Interdimensional, and maybe show us one more thing, or two more things. Couldn't be further from the truth. We ended up with an entire 40 minutes, 45, but 40 minutes if you don't count the extra minutes with that, of them talking about Copperhead Strike with the lady from Carowinds. And that was an interesting story about how all that came about. I thought it was kind of cool for all that information, but nobody was there for that. Nobody wanted to hear about that. Nobody cared. I mean, well, I'm not going to say nobody. There might have been a few people who were interested. I thought it was an interesting chat they had. But I took my lunch early because I thought I could catch the live stream. And it turns out I was an hour late because when it's usually at 3 o'clock, it was at 2 o'clock this time because of time zone differences or something. I don't know how it works out. But somehow or another, there was some kind of difference in time, and it was at 2 instead of 3. So turns out I took my lunch a little early and still didn't get to see it. So I had to watch the thing back. And so, but I was able to kind of like, at that point, it was like, oh, I can just skip through a lot of this then, so that's all right. There was no new rides. In fact, they didn't even bother to actually show the ride in game. They showed us some photos, and that was about it. And so that was kind of a low point of the week. It's like, well, that was a bust. Oh well, there's always tomorrow. All right, so let's move on to the next day. And our brand new ride. So, oh, wait, that night. So that night, we didn't get any kind of live stream that was worthwhile. But that night, I checked out, I was sent a little something by one of my viewers, East Coast Coasters, who said to check out a certain photo and look at it in a little more closer detail. So I did. In our Discord, we discussed it. And I started talking about it with Joe K5, and Joe K5 edited the image a little bit so we could see it a little more clear. The whip was prominent right there. You could see it in detail, but there was some other stuff we couldn't quite make out. Turns out it was just the lights on the Flying Temple, but we actually thought we were onto something with that one. We couldn't tell. But we thought, could be a paratrooper, could be the parachute tower, can't really tell. And it turns out it was just lights. So go figure. Yeah, it was just lights. All right, so, but we were right about the whip. The whip is right there. Whether or not we get it in this DLC, that's kind of what ended up happening with that. Nobody was given credit where credit was due. Everybody was just talking about it, but nobody's saying really where it came from. It came from me, Joe K5, and East Coast Coasters. That's who it came from. So, moving on along, the next day, the Free Flyer. Oh, the Free Flyer. The ride that I have been asking for so long. It's a paratrooper. I love the paratrooper. The paratrooper was my last favorite classic flat ride that I wanted, and we got it. So, again, another high with Frontier. I mean, they're hitting it out of the park with this one. I loved it. The Copperhead Strike was awesome. I love those cars. And then the Flying Temple. So you got, again, not saying it's horrible. Just saying, for me, it's meh. And then Interdimensional. Loved it. That was an awesome. I love that one. Free Flyer. The Whip, obviously, which they haven't revealed yet, but we are getting. Possibly getting. And the Paratrooper, the one ride that I was just like, if I can get that ride, that's all I need. I mean, I do. There's more rides on my list that I would love to have, but that's my list. You know, The flying scooters I got in Magnificent Rides, and this one, you know, and we got a new scrambler too. That was kind of cool when we got the new scrambler back in Vintage. And the flying scooters, and then now the paratrooper. My must-have flat ride list is complete. I can die a happy man. All right, that's a little dramatic. All right, so Free Flyer is awesome. They even went with the umbrellas instead of the hang glider tops. It looks like it's going to have an absolutely beautiful light package on it, and I can't wait to get this in my game and play with it and have some fun with it. And at that point, that was Thursday. Now we come to Friday. Friday morning, if you are already awake or you woke up early just to see what the new ride is because you're that excited. If you're like me and you're that excited about this ride pack and everything and all that, or maybe you just need to get up early because you got to go to work and you're excited to see what the new thing is before you go to work. Or maybe you're just coming home and you're about to go to bed, but before you go to bed, you want to see the new ride. What we got greeted with that morning was, oh, hey, you want to see the new ride? Sign up for our newsletter. Yeah, and then they locked the video so that you can't actually see it on YouTube unless you actually sign up for the newsletter, get it from the newsletter. Like, nobody's gonna leak this stuff? I mean, really? You thought by locking it behind a newsletter that it's not gonna, like, and nobody else is gonna post it on YouTube? This is pointless. Alright, but I've talked about that already. So, but later on the day, the final ride for the week, possibly, unless we get some more stuff on the weekend, which maybe that's why they want us to sign up for the newsletter. I don't know. But the final ride is another one that literally, we were just discussing this ride the week before. The last time I was actually working in Kings Falls on my live stream, we were talking about how awesome it would be if we got a convertible car ride, like the classic Turnpike at Cedar Point or Autotopia or something like that, or the one that was at Kings Island. Because Kings Island had two. They had the jalopies, and then they had the little Turnpike cars, little convertibles, classic cars. And we were talking about how awesome that would be. The night before, Joe K5 in my Discord was literally saying he thinks we're going to get that ride. And then the next day, I was at work, but I found out about it on my lunch. It's exactly that. It's kind of an auto... There's a lot of questions about it. It doesn't have a guide track, but it's like, is this supposed to be test track? Is this supposed to be Autotopia? Or what is this thing? It's just like this weird conglomeration. My personal thoughts is it's either one. This is what I think. So they said it has... I also know that there's questions about isn't it going to go extremely fast and all this other things like that. I feel... This is kind of, and I was just discussing this in my Discord. This is what I think. It could have two options for your track. It could have a track without a guideline and a track with a guideline. And you can, as you're building, you can choose to use track 1 or track 2 as you're building. That's what I think. When it comes to the top speed, I actually went into Kings Falls here and I started looking at the jalopies. And as you can see now, see those things flying by right there as we're looking. So those are the top speed. It has a top speed, this particular car ride has a top speed of 15 miles per hour. So when you're seeing it fly across this track right here, compared to the little slower ones that are somewhere, there goes one right across the bridge right now. Compared to that one, you can see that they are a little fast. So it says it has the highest top speed of any of the other track rides. Which makes people think it could be test track or something like that, and it could be. And Joe K5, he actually said, he brought up a good point. What if, like, he said the People Mover kind of has parts in it where it speeds up, like little speed zones. What if you can have parts of the track where you can make it go faster and then slow it down at the end of the track? Well, that's a good thought. I don't know if they would put that much effort into that ride and design it that way. I literally think it's going to be one of those things where you can go into the settings of the ride and just set the speed. Top speed, I'm kind of thinking it might possibly hit 25 miles per hour, maybe 40 miles per hour. Something like that. 40, I think 40 in the game would be pushing it, but it's a possibility because test track hits somewhere around 64 miles per hour. So I think we were looking at Radiator Springs, and it's somewhere around like 40 or less. So, I mean, it could be something like that. It would be cool, though, if it does have parts of the track where it speeds up and speeds down. I think it has two versions of track. I think it has one with the guide rail and one without the guide rail, and we can choose as we're building it. And I think it will be an adjustable speed, and that's kind of how I think that this Machina Classica is going to be. It looks beautiful. I mean, it's a beautiful looking little cars. It was something that I am actually looking forward to playing around with. I can think of at least 2 of my parks that are going to get one of those. So I'm excited for that one. I liked it a lot. So that was so the low of the day. The one that made me furious was the whole newsletter thing. And that's really, to me, that's unforgivable with them. I'm never going to forget that they did that. That's trolling their fans. And I never thought that Frontier would do that, and they did. And that's complete bullshit. But, and the fact that they showed off an awesome ride, that's great. I love the ride. But, guys, Frontier, if you're watching this, man, that was bad, what you did to us this morning. And you know it was, too. You know exactly what you did. So, I don't know whose idea it was to make people sign up to a newsletter to see the new rides, but they need fired. Somebody who come up with that, and apparently maybe all of you do, because somebody came up with it and the rest of you agreed to it. So, you need to seriously evaluate your marketing, because that's not good. Yeah, you turned a lot of us away from that, and that's your problem, Frontier, is that you can't do something great without screwing it up somehow. You know, Thinkmaker's Toolkit. Oh, but we broke your game. Oh, and we're not gonna fix it for like 6 months either. Ha ha. So yeah. That's going to be the end of this little video here. Again, just kind of a review of the entire week of DLC that we've had. It has been, like I said in the beginning, it's been a week of highs and lows. All in all, the ride reveals were fairly decent this week. I mean, I don't know where the rest of the rides are going to be. I'm not sure how long it's going to, what's going to happen. What I kind of think is going to happen, since we didn't get any on Saturday, and they literally put the car ride on Saturday. So after making everybody sign up for the newsletter on Friday, they just released the car ride to everybody on Saturday, which is, I don't understand that, but all right, whatever. So yeah, we may or may not get a new ride in the morning, or in the afternoon or something like that. We will see. If we do, I will do a little video about it. But in the meantime, thanks so much for watching. I really appreciate you guys for sticking with me and for watching the video. To all my biggest fans, for not complaining and stuff. And yeah, that's going to be it from me. Wherever you guys are in the world, I hope you've enjoyed this video. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. Thanks for watching. What's up, everybody? Thank you for watching the video. If you haven't already, make sure you click that subscribe button down below and click on the bell to stay on top of all my new videos and live streaming events here on YouTube. I also want to give a huge shout out to all the names you see on the right for their support through donations, Patreon, and through Twitch subs. If you would like to join their ranks and you are able, you can do so by clicking on any of those links in the video description down below. No worries though, if you don't like giving away money like that, you can still support the channel by purchasing games or anything through Greenman Gaming, through Humble Bundle, or through Amazon by clicking on my links and making your purchase. A little bit of that goes towards me to support the channel. If you still can't get enough of me, you can always check me out live on twitch.tv and stay up to date with me on Twitter as well. Now that's going to be it, but I can't say thank you enough for all your support here on the channel. Wherever you guys are in the world, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. See you later.